from the Middle East. The armed wing of the Palestinian militant group Hamas says it has launched what it describes as a large rocket barrage towards Israel. Warning sirens have sounded in the Israeli coastal city of Tel Aviv.
ومن ثم انسحب مجاهدون بعد تفجير النفق المستخدم في هذه العملية بعد أن أوقعوا جميع أفراد هذه القوة بين قتيل وجريح وأسير واستولوا على العتاد العسكري لها.
The Israeli airstrikes hit a small area of prefabricated huts surrounded by desert just after evening prayers last night. A Hamas official confirmed that 2 senior commanders targeted by Israel were killed. But there's no doubt that Palestinian civilians were also among the dead and injured.
It is with a heavy heart that I share that last night, Israeli special forces in Gaza rescued the bodies of our hostages, Hanania Vlonka, Michel Nissenbaum, Orion Hernandez.
Recently, a significant event unfolded in the Middle East that drew international attention. Hamas, a group based in Gaza, announced that they had carried out a big rocket attack targeting the Tel Aviv area in central Israel. This area is densely populated and plays a crucial role in the economic and cultural life of the country. The rockets were launched in the Rafah area, which is located in the southern part of Gaza. The Israeli military, responsible for defending the country, quickly responded to the situation. They reported that at least 8 rockets were fired during this attack. Thankfully, due to the advanced defense systems, several of those rockets were intercepted before they could reach their targets on the ground. This quick action by the Israeli Defense Forces prevented any injuries or fatalities from occurring as a result of this rocket attack. This was a significant relief given that the potential for severe casualties in such a densely populated area. The ability to intercept these rockets midair showcases the advanced technology and preparedness of Israel's missile defense system, known as the Iron Dome. This system is specifically designed to detect and destroy short-range rockets and artillery shells in midair before they can cause any harm. Despite the successful interception, the rocket attack caused considerable alarm among the residents of Tel Aviv and the surrounding areas. Air raid sirens, which are used to warn civilians of incoming threats, sounded throughout the region, sending people rushing to bomb shelters for safety. Such experiences are distressing and contribute to the tension and fear among the civilian population. Following the attack, there was a flurry of activity among emergency services in Israel. Although there were no injuries, the authorities remained on high alert, and security measures were intensified across the region to prepare for the possibility of further attacks. The incident was a stark reminder of the ongoing conflict between Israel and various Palestinian groups in Gaza, a conflict that sporadically escalates into violence affecting both Israelis and Palestinians. This event is part of a broader pattern of hostilities that have occurred over many years in the region. Each incident of violence adds to the complexity of achieving a lasting peace. For residents in the affected areas, these are not just news stories. They are real-life events that have immediate and sometimes devastating impacts on their daily lives. Understanding the details of such incidents helps us grasp the fragile security situation in the region and challenges faced by those living under the constant threat of conflict. It also underscores the importance of ongoing efforts to find a peaceful solution to the long-standing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which continues to affect millions of lives in the region. Following the rocket attack, responses from various groups and countries quickly surfaced. Israel strongly condemned the actions, stating a firm commitment to protect its citizens from such dangers. Leaders from around the world also reacted, showing a mix of calls for calm and denouncements of the violence, which underscores the deep divisions in how different countries view the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. On the ground in Gaza, the mood was tense. The people living in Gaza often endure difficult living conditions and now had the added worry of potential retaliation from Israel. It's essential to understand that the residents of Gaza face hardships from multiple directions, impacting their daily lives significantly. Internationally, the reaction was mixed. Some countries and international organizations called for peace and restraint, urging both sides to avoid further escalation. Others condemned the attack more forcefully, labeling it as a clear act of aggression that undermines peace efforts in the region. These differing views reflect the complex and often polarized international stance on the conflict between Israel and Gaza. Social media platforms and news outlets saw a surge in discussions and reports following the incident. People around the world expressed their concerns and opinions, highlighting the global attention such events attract. This public discourse often plays a role in shaping how governments react and engage with the situation. Humanitarian organizations express concern about the impact of the conflict on civilians, emphasizing the need for both sides to adhere to international laws designed to protect non-com fighters in conflict zones. They highlighted the risk of humanitarian crisis, with potential for significant civilian suffering if the conflict were to escalate further. In response to the immediate threat, the Israeli military likely increased its alertness and defensive measures to prepare for any additional attacks. Such military readiness is the standard procedure in these situations, aiming to prevent further harm and ensure the safety of the population. In Gaza, Hamas defended their actions as a form of resistance, stating that the attacks were a response to what they perceive as Israeli aggression. This justification is part of a long-lasting narrative used by Hamas, reflecting the deeply enriched and ongoing conflict in the region. As the situation develops, the international community continues to watch closely, hoping that further violence can be avoided and that steps towards a lasting peace can be taken. The need for peaceful resolution has never been more critical, as the lives of countless civilians hang in the balance. The recent rocket attacks are part of a much larger and ongoing conflict that has deeply affected the region for decades. This Israeli-Palestinian conflict has complex roots that intertwine historical, political, and social elements, infusing not only the local populations, but also international relations. To understand the situation, it's essential to know a bit about the history of the region. After World War II and the Holocaust, the international community, through the United Nations, decided to partition the historical land of Palestine to create a Jewish state, now known as Israel. This decision was welcomed by Jews worldwide, but was rejected by the Arab states and Palestinian Arabs living in the region. This disagreement led to a series of conflicts, starting with the Arab-Israeli War in 1948, shortly after the declaration of the State of Israel. Since then, the conflict has evolved, but centered around key issues: the borders of Israel and Palestine, the control of Jerusalem, a city sacred to Jews, Muslims, and Christians, the rights of Palestinian refugees, and the security concerns of Israel. Over the years, several peace processes and talks have taken place, such as the Oslo Accords in 1990s, which aimed to build a framework for peace but ultimately failed to resolve the core issues. Hamas, the group that claimed responsibility for the recent attacks, emerged in 1987 during the First Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli rule in the Palestine territories. It is an Islamist organization and has a military wing and social services wing, and has also been governing the Gaza Strip since 2007. Hamas is considered a terrorist organization by Israel, the United States, the European Union, and other countries due to its use of violence and refusal to recognize Israel's right to exist. The Gaza Strip, where Hamas is based, is a small piece of land along the Mediterranean coast, bordered by Israel and Egypt. It has been under various forms of blockade by both countries since 2007, which Israel says is necessary to prevent Hamas from obtaining materials to make weapons. These blockades, however, have also led to severe humanitarian crises in Gaza, affecting nearly every aspect of daily life for its residents. The ongoing state of conflict and blockade has created cycles of violence that erupt periodically. These cycles often start with provocation or attack, followed by a retaliation, leading to further escalations. Each round of conflict results in the loss of life and property, deepening hatred and mistrust between the two sides. Efforts to mediate peace and achieve a two-state solution, where Israel and a sovereign Palestine state would exist side by side peacefully, have seen little success. Deep-seated mistrust, political instability, and external influences continue to hinder progress towards this vision. The international community remains divided, with some countries supporting Israel and others backing the Palestinians, making an already complicated diplomatic landscape even more challenging to navigate. Understanding this context is crucial for comprehending why events like the recent rocket attacks occur and why they continue to be a significant barrier to peace in the region. The path forward requires not only political solutions, but also efforts to address the humanitarian issues and build trust among the communities involved. The human impact of the conflict between Israel and Gaza is profound and heartbreaking. Civilians, especially children, often suffer the most during these violent exchanges. Living under constant threat affects their mental and physical well-being, causing long-term trauma and disruption to their daily lives. International law aims to protect civilians during conflicts. Both Israel and Palestine groups like Hamas have been accused of violating these laws at times. Protecting non-combatants is crucial, yet it remains a significant challenge in this ongoing conflict. Humanitarian organizations repeatedly call for sides to adhere to international laws to prevent unnecessary suffering. They stress the importance of protecting civilian lives and providing aid to those affected by the conflict. Despite these efforts, the cycle of violence continues, with civilians frequently caught in the crossfire. The human toll of the conflict is immense. Adhering to international law and protecting civilians should be a priority for all involved parties. Only through such measures can we hope to reduce the suffering and move towards a peaceful resolution. The path to peace in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict remains difficult. Efforts by various international actors to mediate and propose solutions have had limited success. The cycle of violence and retaliation continues to block progress towards lasting peace. It is crucial for all parties to engage in dialogue and seek a peaceful resolution that respects the rights and aspirations of everyone in the region. Finding common ground and building trust are essential steps toward ending the conflict and ensuring a better future for all involved. In conclusion, the recent rocket attacks in Tel Aviv are a stark reminder of the ongoing conflict that continues to disrupt lives and challenge the prospects for peace in the region. It is our hope through increased understanding, international cooperation, and dedicated efforts towards peace, a resolution can be found. We must not lose sight of the human aspects of this conflict, the lives, hopes, and dreams of people who are caught in the midst. Thank you for your attention. Let us all hope and work towards a future where peace prevails and violence is no longer the language of dialogue.